paid. It was a sunny day, all our friends got laid, and when we got a little older, we moved away. Took I-80 to New York City. It's a long damn way, but it sure is pretty. We ran out of gas near Colfax and delivered our first child 9 months after that. And I just called to say, I know you're always sitting in the barrio waiting. There will come a day, and it'll be easier to fly away than it will be to stay. Till we left the city for a modest home, a Springsteen song, a whole life long, a breeze that lifts your head once before it's gone, gone. Time will come and shift its weight till life learns booze needs birthday cake, and when I die I'll see your face in a sundress on a Saturday. Oh, far away. And I just called to say, I know you're always sitting in the barrio waiting. I know that there will come a day, and it'll be easier to fly away than it will be to stay.
Why, hello there, everyone. Long time no see. It's been a while, to say the least. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Amaryllis? Why, yes, I am alive. I've been doing this thing called touching grass. Or in my case, touching sand, because I picked surfing up since I moved down here. But, yeah, that's basically where I've been. And I've also been hopping around EJ's chat as well, but this time I'm back, and let's get into something a little more proper this time around. Because, well, since Artemis 2 happened, I've kind of been getting the itch to come back and stream a lot more. A lot more. And what better way to do that than to help teach people how to play Kerbal Space Program? because KSP is entering a bit of a renaissance, so let's do it. So, how do you play Kerbal? Well, it's shockingly easy. Now's the perfect time. Yeah, now you see why I decided to do this, Amaryllis. So, I'll go ahead and switch over to the desktop here, and let's begin. Oh yeah, first gotta get my my stream tunes up and running. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get into a new game here. What I have before is my engineering mode, and yeah, we got some new flags. And you know what? Let's do science. Reaction heating, I'm saying it's 120% because I'm a little more experienced. I'm also going to enable part pressure limits, G-force limits, Kerbal G-force limits, and plasma blackout. That should be more than enough. I'm not gonna do that. I'd say that could be a good idea, but honestly, nah. I'll name this Tutorialville. Brilliant. I'm also going to turn the game audio on, and give me a second. I just need to swap my swap the battery in my headset. While I'm doing that, I may as well talk about some other stuff I have planned. Well, how about some Kerbal design streams? Because I've been working hard at something. As a matter of fact, I have a photo of it. Let's see. There it is. It's a to-scale replica of the Apollo capsule. And yes, it's got the fuel cells and the tanks in the correct spots. And, I'll start us off in the VAB. If you're playing Science or Sandbox, this is most likely where you're going to end up first. And let's go ahead and let's grab a Mark 1 command pod. Everything looks good there. Don't worry if this looks more like an oval. It's just Unity doing Unity things. We'll grab an SRB. And let's also go ahead and grab a parachute. Because I'm pretty sure we want to get our Kerbals back. And on top of that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab 2 science experiments. Now, the human space program, you're not going to be doing this. But given how Kerbal is right now, the first craft should be a swamp boat. Amaryllis! We don't have a swamp boat. So I'll be building this little nugget here. In fact, we'll call it just that. Nugget 1. Brilliant. And the Kerbal I want to put inside is actually going to be Bob Kerman. And oh, why not? Let's give him the SpaceX suit. Yep, I'm happy with that. And let us save. So we got good telemetry and the stream health. It's been a while since I last did this. Ah, yes, I should probably go ahead and get out of the way here. Yep, I've got my Aero GUI. Now, if everything looks a little smaller, that's because I'm now playing on a 4K monitor. Don't worry, it's not. You don't have to adjust your TV set or your computer. In fact, it's a little hard for me to see it myself. But pay attention to these values up here. These are your rates. If it says pitch is 90 degrees, that means we're pointing vertically up. Oh, hey. I'm pretty sure I have a command for that. Don't worry, also, welcome in, Will 3O. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? But don't worry, I'll provide a model list in my Discord. Dude, there's no command. There's no command for the Nightbot. Leo, okay, Leo. But don't worry, I'll put an updated version of my model list in the Discord. Which, yep, you found it. Anywho, what we want to do first is crew report. We want to go ahead and keep that. And we also want to go ahead and observe the mystery goo. Next, let's get Bob out and let's get him to go on an EVA report. Oh, by the way, you can remove his helmet while on Kerbal. I'm gonna have him collect the data from the goo. And I'm not sure how he does it, but we're gonna have him take a surface sample too. And we'll have him do an EVA report. From there, we're gonna take our data and then simply reboard the capsule. Now, we're good to go. If you guys are wondering how I'm doing this, on the Windows or Kerbal Space Program, you see this little thumbtack here? That allows you to get the part window to stay in place. If you choose this, hit this symbol here, typically another part, let's see. This is a good way to sample it. You see this bar right here? If I hit this, I can use my keyboard instead of having to adjust a slider. Anywho, I ran on long enough. Let's launch. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make rocket to go now. And from there, we can get some new science. And don't worry if the launch is pretty violent. That's normal for a solid rocket motor. Whew, sonic booms! Ooh, we went past the speed of sound all right. 10 kilometers, not bad. We're still in the atmosphere and low. You wouldn't want to do this in real life because that booster is still, because with one, but don't worry, what's happening here won't actually affect the parachute. It's just part of a visual mod that I have called Avalanche. Basically, it's better solid rocket motor plumes. And man, we are falling with grace. Something like this isn't the only thing you can do with solid rocket motors. Don't worry, we'll get into it later. But for now, we're just gonna be falling with style. And don't worry about the data we just gathered. That would be helpful. Ooh, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Oh. Oh, that was a real tape pucker for a moment. And I'll board. I just want to grab the EVA report. Battle Rock, how the heck are you, buddy? Also, we're probably just gonna mute the VOD track real quick, so that there's not two, probably not two versions of the track playing at once. Even though I want to make sure. Yep, audio track. Yep, that's correct. So the Switch VOD track is boom. Is good to go. Lots of mods I got. Yep, I only use visual mods. Gonna do a little Tarkov? Good luck, buddy. Anywho, we landed. We've got data from on the pad and flying above Kerbal. Let's see what we got. We got a whopping 37 science from that. Don't get shot. Yes, Battle. Don't get shot by some stupid bots. Seriously, you'll never see me play Tarkov. Ooh. And, so what can we do with this science we collected? Well, we could go into the R&D building. There, we can unlock stuff on the tech tree. For now, we've only got these two nodes here, which we're going to be unlocking both of them. This one gives us the ability to use liquid fueled rockets. More on these later. And we still got a decent amount of science left. So, how about we go ahead and get the barometer, because that's going to pay for itself immediately. These will be nice. Larger tanks and bigger boosters are going to be nice too. But I think we should go for what's going to have some more immediate ROI. So by that logic, science wins the day. But don't worry, we'll get these nodes in time. And surprisingly quick too. Now, what we did earlier was that we just went up and collected some science, right? Also, I'm gonna turn the game down so I can, and maybe because I also kind of like to hear myself talk. And I'm also gonna turn the music down too, so I don't destroy everyone's ears. Wait, do I have auto ducking on? Filters. Oh, yes, I do. I forgot I had this. And oh yeah, I had a limiter on this too. So in that case, I can just proceed as planned. But still, I'll set it to like 60%. Just so I don't destroy anyone's ears. Now, a good resource for this would actually be the KSpedia. If I could find it. But yeah, basically, you want to go down the science route first, because these have the more immediate return on investment. The more science you get, the more nodes you can unlock. As a matter of fact, research and development, you could actually have an archive of it. You can see exactly what experiments you did. There is also a gameplay mod, this one here called X Science. Think of this as essentially a science checklist. And I have really got to make sure. Ah, there we go. Hey guys, can you read that a lot better? Because I know I can. It's a bit hard to play on a 4K monitor. I won't lie. Ah. So pretty small. Ah. Okay, okay. Anywho, this is the tracking station. And this is the starting planet, Kerbal. Oh my god, it's right there. Here's the manual. Yep, good old Kerbal. This is where us KSP players call home. We don't want that. We want the flight. Ah, this is what I want. Space travel. Yeah, this is really good. Yep, yeah, KSP is full of Easter eggs. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts here. Yep, see? You want to build rockets kind of like this. See? It's aerodynamic. It's aerodynamic. Thrust is clearly balanced. This, on the other hand, that's just asking for drag. But that doesn't answer the question. How do you get to orbit? Well, these can help out. But when it comes to orbit, what you want to do is basically... where is it? Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. Good to know. Yep, these are nice to have. But we'll get to more of these later on. Arrow, no. Let's see. Kerbal. Yep, Kerbal has two moons. The moon itself, and then Minmus, which is a captured comet. And yes, we'll be going to this one here later this stream. And I'll show you how to do it. Ah, here it is. This is an example of a stable orbit. Apoapsis is the highest point. Periapsis, the lowest. If AP and PE are each 70 kilometers above Kerbal, that is a nice stable orbit. But how do we get there? Well, obviously we have to launch, right? This is what we did. We just went up and we came back down. What we want to do is turn this blue line into this blue line, but it's not exactly like that. If you notice when Artemis 2 is launching, what the rocket did was basically roll up and then pitched over. We want to do something like that, but it's going to take us a bit before we get there with the parts we have. So, in order to speed up the progress a little bit, let's go back to the VAB and launch another mission. Let's see if we can, at the very least, get for the most part, up into space. I think we could do... The game crashed. Well, this is humiliating. Oh yeah, this is something I was working on. I'm trying to make a 5-segment SRB. Yes, you can do something like this in KSP, but we're gonna stick to the basics for now. And this is just an experiment I was using with a friend of mine. Oh shoot, that's right. I should probably go ahead and grab a little bit tool we use. This is called CCAN, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Kerbal Archive Network. Basically, this is where you get your mods. And as a matter of fact, I will go ahead, open up CCAN here, and grab the mod list for everyone. In fact, these are all my mods. Let's see, I'm gonna go to export my mod pack. Cancel. What I want to do is save installed mods. I'll just put this on my desktop. April 22nd, 2026. And I will upload that to the Discord in a little bit. But for now, let's get back into science mode. We just had our first flight. So, let's see if we could go a little farther. And yes, this will be uploaded to the VOD channel and onto the main channel too. For those tuning in wondering, wait, first flight? You've just moved up the game. The game crashed. So, let's go ahead and reopen the Nugget 1. Yes, my beautiful nuggets. And we noticed that we just have something. Is this? This is one of the parts we unlocked. This is what's known as a heat shield. Basically, because we go up to space, you're gonna be going pretty fast. And we hit an atmosphere. That atmosphere compresses against the spacecraft. So what does heat shield do? It protects you from the atmosphere or upon re-entry. Because since the atmosphere is compressing against the heat shield, the energy has to be released somewhere. So it's released as heat. Thus, again, heat shield. The best way most heat shields can deflect heat, they ablate. Hence, ablator. Essentially, they burn off. Now, let's do something a little more suborbital, shall we? This little nubbin, not really gonna do us a lot. Which is why I'm thinking we should go ahead and break out the liquid fuel rockets. As a matter of fact, I know exactly what I want to do with this design. What I'm using is what's one of the gizmos. If you press one on the keyboard, you can place tools. If you press two, this pops up and you can offset. If you want to reset it, just go ahead, click it off, and put it back on. But, yep, this is an absolute snap. And you can also locally snap it. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of absolute snap. 3, you can rotate it. You can switch between local and absolute by pressing the F key on your keyboard. Console players, oof. What I'm trying to do is I'm going to make this a little more like the Mercury Redstone. And you can also copy parts by pressing Alt and clicking. See? That looks pretty snazzy. And that should do it. That should be more than enough for a suborbital hop. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and let's put on one of our liquid fuel engines. Like so. Now, if you really want to get far into this game, this is a number you have to pay attention to. See that 2157 meters per second on the screen down there? That's called delta V. Essentially, your change in velocity. The higher this number is, the further you can go. Oh, I forgot to mention what this is. This is a decoupler. This is how you can separate your rocket. Basically, you can stage your rocket if needed. And this can jettison from the rocket stage down here. Pretty nifty, isn't it? And let's grab some more science experiments. I want to go right here. And I want to add a thermometer and a barometer. Let's make it nice and easy so Bob can actually reach them. I'll name this the Nugget 2. Let's save. And I'd say we're good to light this candle. Actually, not quite yet. I want to go ahead and I want to wait. If you want to alter these, just click on them. I was doing it with my keyboard by accident for a second. What I'm gonna do is copy the thermometer and put it down here. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the barometer, because we're gonna be going higher up in the atmosphere this time around. And oh, why not? Let's add just a little more fuel. And now our rocket looks the part. We add just about 200 more meters per second of delta V. That's pretty nice. And yeah, I'd say we're good to send it. Just send it and forget it, as I like to say. Yes, I was scratching myself there. Don't judge. Okay, why does it look like it's covered in Zets? This is why. I want to log temperature and I want to log pressure data. I'm gonna have Bob go out an EVA and collect both. All right, let's activate the SAS, which is our stability system. And oh wait, I can do this. I want that. And we're good to launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now start pitching over. Just slightly. Yep, we're going half the speed of sound. And let's go ahead and we start throttling down, so we can lower our dynamic pressure. Oh, that plume looks so good. Oh. I've got to log data. Okay, let's get this rocket a little more downrange. Basically around 10 kilometers, you want to be around 45 degrees. If we can pay attention down here, see the apogee? It's still climbing, but now our perigee is starting to increase too. It's also reflective up here with Kerbal Engineer. The UI is too small. And I'd say that's good enough. I'll log pressure data. Log temperature. Observe the goo. And let's do a crew report. And because Bob Kerman won't have that much drag, let's go on EVA for a little bit. And let's take our data. Let's log an EVA report too while we're at it. Let's take out our data and board. Whoa, okay. Now we are good to go ahead and separate from the booster. Welcome to space. Let's go ahead and grab a crew report. And while we're at it, let's also go ahead and take our pressure data too. Observe the goo. So Bob going on a little bit of a spacewalk. Ooh, that's actually pretty interesting. Why not do some torque on the vehicle? And boom. Got over science. Now, all we gotta do is re-enter the atmosphere, and we're good to go. Sorry, I was just check something over in OBS. I'll go ahead and re-enable the SAS. Let's get ourselves set up for re-entry. Because we're gonna hit, if you want a time warp and essentially make the game run faster, you just press the period and comma keys. Period speeds it up, comma slows it down. Now we're hitting the atmosphere, and we're going around Mach 4. Remember this little heat shield? That's about to come in handy real quick. In fact, I can disengage the SAS by pressing T. If you want to engage this icon, RCS, which is finer control, we press R. You can also click on them, but T and R are going to be your best friends for keys. And now we just hit the atmosphere. Which that ocean is coming up pretty fast. As well as that little peninsula. Yep, we're hitting the atmosphere. Oh, look at this nerd stream. Oh, hey! Hey! Look at this nerd I'm about to shout out. Everyone, go follow T-Man. T-Man's a super cool dude. And this thing here, pretty hot. It's pretty hot. Again, most of this is a visual mod, but the energy heat will bite you in the butt. So remember that heat shield? Pretty sure it's coming in handy. Especially since here I set the reentry heat to max. Why? Because I'm a masochist. That is to simulate the reentry heat so it's more akin to real life. And at this point, all you gotta do is just slow down. If we had something like, say, a drogue chute, we'd be fine. How's KSP going? Pretty freaking good. This is the second mission of this tutorial series. Basically, with all the hype with Artemis 2 T-Man, my idea is, let's teach newbies how to play the game. Anywho, main shoot deploy. And all Bob has to do is splash down. And to quote Scott Manley, we'll soon have a variable bounty of science. Also, Nerd Stream. T-Man, you work in the industry, so you're the freaking nerd here. No, I'm kidding. Everyone, seriously, go follow T-Man. He's a good dude. And after we splashed out, T-Man, I actually have to show you something. Hey, what's up, Blitz? Facts, though. Dude, this is why we get along. This is why we freaking get along. I mean, hey, I'm a nerd who streams Kerbal Space Program. You actually got to hug a BE4. So I'm envious of you alone. Oh, speaking of United Launch Alliance, I got some new plumes. Which, and a Raptor 3. You suck. Hey, T-Man. Did you get to look at GEM 63XL? It's not a Nova Raptor KSP stream unless T-Man makes me jealous. Anywho, we splash down. Let's recover our vessel. Let's get that variable bounty of science. We got 109.7 science from that mission alone. Holy cow. Also, T-Man, speaking of rockets. Yeah. I copied each's 5-segment SRB. This is actually a really fun project, and I also set the gimbal to 800%, so it mimics the real life SRB. By the way, yes, guys, you can mod this game. In fact, you get most on CCAN. But as to the waterfall plumes, hey T-Man, you know those are mastodons, right? What's up with this picture? Tell me, what engine did I have this replicate? Yeah, this stuff down here. Yeah, it's an F1, but the exhaust itself, what does it remind you of? It's a gas generator engine, but in a way, the engine this plume is based off of is a shuttle derived? Okay, we'll keep you suspense. Guys, I have a waterfall config. You're close. This actually isn't an RS-25, even though I have the RS-25 plume for this, believe it or not. The plume that these mastodons here are using are from the RS-68s. In other words, oh wait, I have Firefox open. The RS-68 powered this freaking thing. Yup. Now you see the connection, right, T-Man? Oh, here's something really cool. I have an F1 plume for my for the swivel engine here, so you can basically have it look like the Merlin. And yes, I've also got a Methalox and a Raptor plume for this thing because, I mean, this kind of can fit the role of a Raptor. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we go altering the Nugget, let's see what else we can unlock in the unlock here in the R&D building. So, fun fact, you saw SN1 R68 at the ULA factory when you got a tour of it. That's sick. If I recall correctly, T-Man, that's an RS68A. It's what powered the Delta program. And speaking of powering stuff, let's go ahead and unlock general rocketry for 20 science points. I also want to grab advanced rocketry up here for 45. And I want to unlock the science junior here for 45. Now we have all the tools we need in order to get up to space. And this time, stay there. So here's what we're going to do. We're gonna take the nugget here. I'm gonna stretch the core stage just a little more. You're thinking, no, but this is a terrible idea, isn't it? Oh, hey. Oh, hey, guys. Look at this nerd in the chat. RJ the noob. But seriously, what's up, RJ? How you doing, man? As for me, I'm doing pretty freaking good. Bro just singled me out. Yeah, I did. What you gonna do about it? I'm kidding. Seriously, how the heck are you, man? Good, glad you're doing good. Aw, thanks, man. Glad to hear you're doing pretty good as well. But yeah, I'm sorry for this. I'm back at the start because with all the hype from Artemis 2, I said that you're gonna play KSP despite me. Oh, you dick! You know, when it comes to more advanced KSP stuff, I've been getting the itch to make my new Glen again, which is something we'll do on this very stream because I'm back. But here, I just want to take things a little slower and show the new guys how it's done, or rather, how to do it. So, for our next flight, we're gonna take a Science Junior here, and we're going to grab this. I'm gonna switch it over to a hypergolic plume. Yep, I'm gonna have to fix that. Teaching the use of KSP. Yep, which is what. Thanks, RJ. But yeah, guys, RJ and I could do some pretty complicated stuff in KSP, but for the points of this series I'm doing, I want to keep the builds as brutally simple as possible. So, how simple? Normally we do something funky like, say, radially attached stuff, but here, see that node? See this tank? Done. See this engine? Done. Well, hopefully you don't have what I had to do. Well, hopefully you don't have what I had to did with New Glen. And because second stage didn't do its job. Man, my hopes and dreams are shattered, T-Man. Just like New Glen's second stage. Too soon? Yeah. Oh, you guys want to know how I did this? I just press shift and on assemblies like that, boom. I can take apart parts. Now, let's get to coupler because this stinky little thing ain't getting into orbit by itself. And we'll want a coupler so we can stage. Actually, I'll just do this. What I'm gonna do here is take this here, put you there, take that, take these fin, 4XM, and that'll do it. That's our orbital class rocket. Now, before this thing can go out, check yo staging. See here? If I were to put this out on the pad right now without doing some QA, there's just a couple, and then both engines will be able to fire. Oh, nice. I'll definitely see if I can try and make that trip, T-Man, for Flight 12. If not, oh well. I want to be there for the first ship catch. So, going back, how do we fix this? So let's create a new stage by pressing this button here, which I already did. We're gonna find the swivel, and we're gonna put it into its own stage, and then just drag the swivel down like that. Hang on, gotta sneeze. Wait, false alarm. False alarm. Now, this rocket should get into orbit. By the way, you can zoom in on the VAB if you press shift and then scroll the mouse wheel. Otherwise, if you use the mouse wheel, you scroll up and down. Personally, a lot of more advanced builders like RJ and myself prefer using the spaceplane hangar. How the heck? Yeah, because honestly, T-Man, that's a good point. Hang on, let me pause the music real quick. For those who don't know, just read the instructions, SpaceX's drone ship was just retired from Falcon. What's going to happen now is that it's being reassigned for Starship. Thing is, it was never designed to carry Starship from the beginning. Honestly, I would have just kept just reading instructions dedicated for Falcon flights. It's for the Atlantic. Why? Swells. The Atlantic is unpredictable. You need both a shortfall of gravitas and just read the instructions in order to maintain a proper Falcon flight cadence. But considering the new landing zones that SpaceX has been building at the coast, I wonder if this means we're going to see some RTLSs for Starlink. I mean, I doubt it because Starlink satellites are pretty heavy. But I'm getting way ahead of myself here. Let's get back to Kerbal. Yeah, this one. Let's get the tunes back up and running. So, let's see if we can get Bob orbital. Oh, for the Delta V readout. Here's something you might want. You see this number here? And yes, I have all these values displayed because if I click on the Delta V itself, okay, it's a little small, but if I need to make the UI a little bigger, please feel free to let me know. Basically, this gives you all of the information: starting mass, ending mass, burn time, thrust to weight ratio. You want this to be higher than 1 so your rocket can actually get off the pad, your thrust, and your specific impulse. Basically, your efficiency. Rockets have two but there's one more mission. It's a Falcon Heavy drone ship landing. Okay, that's gonna be sick. And I'm pretty sure that's for Nancy Grace Roman. That flight's gonna be awesome. Oh, right, Delta V. Do you want to know the actual value of what you need for your rockets? Click on this tab. Right now it's giving you sea level thrust, but wait, this upper stage is optimized for a vacuum. So you want vacuum level thrust. Much better performance now, isn't it? Oh, which reminds me. Just to be safe, and so I can reuse this design in the future, I want to go ahead and add batteries to this. The Science Junior, I can run on Kerbal. However, I'm going to go ahead and run this once we get into space. Don't worry, I can come up with another way of getting Science Junior data from Kerbal itself. But for this, let's make orbit. As for plumes, I want F1. But yeah, this rocket's more than enough. And yep, I do not have fairings yet. I just want to make sure. Oh yeah, we can make service bays. So if you want to say, make something that can return for the moon of Minimus unmanned, that's your best bet. Now, let's launch. Oh, before we do... Pre-roll ads are still off? Guys, I'll be honest, I freaking hate the pre-roll ads on Twitch. Speaking of me... You suck. T-Man, you freaking suck. And you know what? Just to spite you, I will personally fly down to the Cape for the launch. I only got like, what, 6 months? Okay, close to a year, but that's plenty of time. It was not plenty of time. I'm getting ahead of myself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make rockets go now. Yeah, it would be pretty fast. And NASA has been speeding things up. Yep, as before. It's your gravity turn. Oh, it's a little noodly. Don't worry. I can show you guys how to fix that back in the VAB. Right now, we're on proper heading. Yeah, space XP with NASA would be pretty nuts. I'm also gonna go ahead and throttle down. If you guys are wondering, wait, your rocket's a little noodly. And we hit Mach 1. All right, we are now go at throttle up. Good proper heading. And second stage ignition confirmed. The Nugget 3 is on its way. Okay, it's growing on me. I like the hypergolic plume with the Terrier. It just, oh, it fits. I also have a Hydrolox plume with the Terrier too. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and make Centaur. All right, we're around 40 kilometers. Let's start leveling out. Turning the rest of our vertical speed into horizontal speed. Or rather, vertical velocity into horizontal velocity. This is where we basically start flying straight. And we're gonna be exiting the atmosphere in about a minute. And that should be enough. So I'll go ahead and cut the engine, and we're just gonna coast to apoapsis. Now, in real life, rockets won't do this, but here, I'm gonna fly the rocket in a way that makes the most sense for new players. Because at it, I'm gonna conduct a material study. I'm gonna have Bob collect the data. And this is the reason why you want scientists. They can restore experiments. I fat fingered that. Okay, we're going to use the Nugget 3's onboard reaction wheels. We'll conduct a material study once more, so we can get a nice little surplus of science. Lots of S's there. We make sure to store all experiment reports in the main plot. In the main pot. Based. I'm going to collect and restore. Now, if you can't afford to bring back your science experiments, don't worry. Don't worry. There's a way around it. In case we won't have to worry about prop settling. That's true. That happens with 3 rockets. Here, Kerbal have figured out a way on how to always keep the rockets pressurized. Really, it's like this for gameplay purposes. But in the meantime, see these little icons here? With SES enabled, you just have to click these and you're pointing in the direction you're going. Now, in real life, this wouldn't happen because reaction wheels are very heavy. Like, absurdly heavy. Batteries, too. But now we can just go ahead and burn, baby, burn. Oops, hit my mic there. Like, I mean, as hard as you want. There are mods as for that, too. For those who really want a challenge, I personally recommend Realism Overhaul. 94 by 78. A bit lopsided, but for all intents and purposes, that's orbit. Yeah, we're in orbit. We did it, guys. Huh. Min-miss. Yep, that's angle of attack. Side slip. Climb rate. Pre-rolls are on. I'm just gonna keep the pre-rolls running. Fun fact is that if you press the V key on your keyboard, you can change your camera view. So if you want Kerbal underneath you, you can do that. If you want your orbital camera, so Kerbal's right there, you can do that too. Essentially, what prograde is, think of it as forward. Retrograde is back. Normal is left. Anti-normal is right. Radial out's up. And radial in, that's down. However, based on the view, normal and anti-normal can also be up or down, and these could also be left or right. Really, it depends on the view. If you also have a chase cam, if there's a lock camera, there's auto. Personally, I prefer the free cam, because I like having Kerbal underneath me. Especially when we get into finer aspects of the game. But here, I'm gonna go ahead and leave Bob in orbit for a little bit, so we can get back to apogee, the highest point of our orbit. So if I burn a retrograde at the highest point of our orbit, same here, T-Man. I'm very happy for Blue that they got a chance to reuse a booster. But anywho, oops. Sorry, distracted me a little bit there. Anywho, if we burn retrograde at the highest point of our apogee, that means we have the greatest effect on our perigee. Watch. Oh, if you want to keep that everything there, left click. I mean, right click. See? Now it's suborbital. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and let's see if we can land by the Kerbal Space Center. And from there, I'm going to point us prograde. So we can go ahead and decouple our capsule. Yep, we got everything we need. Let's get ourselves ready for entry interface. And here we could use period to speed up time. Don't worry, you'll automatically slow down when you hit the atmosphere, like there. If you want to get really technical, you can have capsules here behave like they do in real life. Oh, there's the moon. We'll be getting there this save. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's gonna happen a lot sooner than you think. Right now we're going around Mach 6. Ooh. Pretty fast. As a matter of fact, as you can see, things are starting to heat up. Really heat up. You see? There's that compression. And technically, the capsule should have RCS like the Mark III. This one here? Oh, absolutely. Even though this is based off the Mercury capsule. Speaking of, if you have the DLCs, you have the trifecta of American spaceflight. The Mercury capsule, the Gemini capsule, and the Apollo capsule all in one. And that's just capsules. You can also make airplanes in this game. And you can also make planes that can go to space. Like my beloved space shuttle. And something like, say, Starship, what T-Man used to work on. Yes, I'm just gonna out you like that, T-Man, sorry. Yeah, you can make Starship in this game. Granted, it's gonna be ridiculously hard to do, but you can get it done. But if you want something more that's more plug and play, just get a mod. There's no shame in modding the game. In fact, I recommend modding the game personally. If anything, to make the game look pretty. Awesome. Because I'm just sitting back and enjoying these beautiful re-entry effects. Oh, that's neat. Okay, we went through a decent amount of a blader. But we still have a lot more left over, so I'm not too concerned. Oh, look, there's our other stage. There's the stage. Right now, we're just gliding through the atmosphere. At around Mach 2. Now it's safe to deploy the parachute. Personally, I'll deploy it when we're under Mach 1. Cough, cough, HLS. Cough, cough, Blue Moon is better. And I'd say I'm going to deploy the parachute. Now, in real life, you would never do this. Like, at all. You'd have drogues, at the very least. And drogue shoots are pretty cool. What? They help you slow down. Ain't that enough? You guys see Blue Nice. Okay, I have to say, Blue Origins Blue Moon landers, they're very well thought out. And one was supposed to be launching this year, but... Oh... Yeah, New Glenn's second stage kind of crapped the bed. Don't worry, Blue will get it done. Also, that is a nice shot of Delta 4. I'm serious, that is a very nice shot of Delta 4. Oh, that's a good shot of Delta 4 Heavy. I'm sorry, but this is just nice. Yeah, it was a freaking ugly rocket, but it's my ugly rocket. Anywho, Bob is just now coasting down. I'll speed up just a smidge so we can actually hit the water. While we're here, we may as well go ahead and grab a cheeky report. No, that's for KRPC, another mod I have. Log temp and observe the goo. While at it, let's get ourselves a crew report too. Let's go on EVA and grab ourselves the EVA report. Let's take a surface sample too. You've taken a sample of the water. It appears to dramatically increase the surface humidity of anything it touches. Riveting. Very riveting. Oh, don't worry about collecting the data here because when we recover, the data gets collected anyway. That water looking good? You can thank Scatterer for that. Now I've got 98 science. So, we got some stuff to go play with. I think I know what I want. I want some... hang on, do I already have them? I do! Nice. These I don't need right now. I think the struts and... yeah, struts are better. Really? Fairings are all the way over here? Okay. All right. Before we go ahead and continue and unlock some new tech, you guys are gonna hate me. I'm thinking of running ads, if anything, just so I can get pre-rolls disabled. So the new guys coming into the stream don't miss out on any advice we have. So, go ahead and grab yourselves a drink. I will be right back in a couple of minutes. Which I'm probably going to do the same thing and refill my water a tiny bit. Wait, actually I've got plenty, so hi VOD viewers! Hi VOD viewers! Look at this! This is a nice rocket. Nice rocket, isn't it? Okay, this thing is such a freaking anomaly. Guess what I won't be building? That piece of junk. And if a new guy's coming in, hey, guess what? Pre-roll ads are off. Let's take a look at some very nice Delta 4. Yeah, some very nice Delta 4 pictures. And hey! 36 media plus. Okay. Demo sat. Basically a piece of metal. Ooh, sun-synchronous orbit. Nice. Missile warning satellite. Wow, Delta 4 is very successful. Nova, can the LEM deep throttle? The descent stage can. The ascent stage, no. So that's what that's from. I was wondering why. You know what, since I'm here on Steam, I'm gonna go ahead to settings, notifications. No, actually, RJ. Hypergol. The Luna module says that's just a hypergolic engine. Actually, right, you knew that? Yep. I'm right as per usual. Oh wait, we're back. I did not realize that. Anywho, we are back. And that's what we're unlocking. I want general construction. I also want to grab this so I have some radial decouplers. So we can now build our rockets and make them girthier. Damn it, I should have unlocked the solar panels. Because we kind of need these where we're going to go next. But they can wait. Because I know how to fudge out some science. Because see this thing here? Here's my idea. We remove the second stage, right? You're thinking, Nova, you can't be serious. I am serious. Actually, no, wait. Oh, we need two. Yeah, only need two. From KSP and from flying low. What I was going to do originally is build an airplane. But we don't exactly have plane parts quite yet. So I just need this in the Nugget 2.5. Yep, I want the F1 plume. If we want to, we could I could just fudge it. And get some more science, if you catch my drift. Let's conduct a material study. Throttle up. And... oh yeah, I should probably enable SAS. And explain how to fix the wobbly rockets. In time. In time. I can do a flyby of the moon. Well, that actually would have solved my problem. Oh god, oh no. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. In real life, the rocket would have destroyed itself. So we can go ahead and decouple. I'm also going to deploy the parachute. We basically got what we needed. I just hope that that shit's going to create enough drag. It is. It is. We're good. We're good. We're good, chat. But what I will do is slow down. There we go. There I could be a little cheeky. Take Bob, grab an EVA, collect the data, and restore the experiment so we can get a little more science data from the water. Now, what about doing what Artemis 2 did? Okay, that's going to require a bit more Delta V, but we can get this done. Especially tonight. First, I'll take that cheeky 10 science, and let's recover our vessel. We got 35 science. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Now, this is what I originally wanted to do. You could, T-Man, but there's a problem with that. Dragon isn't necessarily ready to go out to the moon. Actually, we're about to get a very good bounty of science very soon. So we'll easily be able to hit this tier. So, in order for that to happen, we're going to do basically what Artemis 2 just did. Prepare to be amazed, chat. Because already, we're going to do a lunar flyby. First, I'm going to warp to sunrise. And instead of the VAB, we're going to go to the spaceplane hangar. Now, why the spaceplane hangar, you may ask? Simple. I can just move around more. Is we really want to get your nookie crannies in. Oh, if you want to move the whole vessel, just shift and left click. Look, I have the maneuver gizmo on. This will make things a little easier for us right now. Right now, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. We need to double up on the batteries. Oh, if you want to switch temperature modes, you press R in the editor. Either or works. Here, I'm going to give this craft 3 batteries because we're going to be going out to the moon. Well, on a flyby, but still, we're going to be getting out into translunar space. Speaking of, we're going to need a translunar injection. A translunar injection stage. Which is basically just going to be this. Yeah, thank God we don't have to worry about radiation in KSP right now. Actually, I'm going to throw out the core stage because I want to completely redesign it. From there, I'm going to go ahead, grab these tanks, and that's good enough. Grab our LVT-45. the swivel. I'm going to tilt it upwards so that we can see the gas generator. I'm going to switch to the F1 plume. Now, here's something really cool that you guys might want to know. When we highlight this, this is our root part. What this does is that I can reassign root parts, but there's an easy way of doing things. See this auto strut here? This makes it so that you don't have to put struts everywhere. You can auto strut to the heaviest part, or better yet, what I prefer to do, grandparent part. Decouplers, I personally like to put onto the heaviest part. It's a little tedious, chat. Bear with me. But don't worry, this makes the rocket extra stable. Sir, class for your pilot's license. Nice. That's awesome, T-Man. I'm super proud of you. While we're here, we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have ignition of these stages happen when they separate. Now, how do we get all the way out to the Mun? Well, we're definitely going to need a bigger rocket. So I'm going to add these fins here. Attach it to grandparent part. And now... it's all just a flex. Yeah, dude, you're just flexing at this point. And now, we're going to take these radial decouplers. Now, earlier in the stream, remember how we had a small little SRB? Well, here, we could put on more SRBs. Yeah, basically, and this also works in real life, too. What's the solution if you want to get further? If you want to get further into the solar system? More boosters. I kid you not. The solution 9 times out of 10, you just put more boosters on it. And while we're here, I'm going to have these on the grandparent part. And to make things somewhat more realistic, I'm going to go ahead and put a strut on these. And to make sure that these are on the world grid, I'm going to go ahead and absolute snap these. Pulls up Saturn 1 photo. Okay, Saturn 1B is one of my favorite rockets. If you guys want, we can get into bigger launch vehicles when we get the technology for fairings and whatnot. I can show off a more advanced building technique. However, this wouldn't necessarily be everyone's cup of tea. Or in my case, a pint of Guinness. God, I love Guinness so much. It's the ultimate KSP rocket. It really is. Because for the uninitiated, what Saturn 1 did is also, first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and switch editors. Yes, you can switch editors in this game. From there, left shift and click the root part, and then just scroll up. Grabs 104 proof bourbon. You know, T-Man, I have some nice bourbons in my liquor cabinet. But I just had 2 glasses of wine with my steak tonight, so I'm good. Let's go ahead and get this snapped onto the world grid. That, and I'm a little anal about having everything be perfectly lined up on the launch pad. And let's go ahead and grab some launch clamps. These things are a godsend, especially if you could be doing robotic missions like we could be doing later on, because these provide power to the vehicle while it's on the pad. What we want is for our LVT-45 to ignite with our SRBs. And okay, look at that TWR. That's way too high. So what I can do is actually lower it using the thrust limiter here. So lowering it down to like say 49%. That's more than enough. That's 1.3. That's 1.3 TWR, which should provide around 1.3 Gs of force. Because think about it, these are 4 SRBs. If you want, you can also alter the fuel. But for the sake of this, I'll set it to half. Yeah, I cannot wait for Kitten Space Agency to come out. And for this, I'm gonna go ahead and have my plume once again be hypergolic. And I'd say we are good to launch. I'll dub this the Nugget 4. Basically, we're gonna be doing this as a lunar flyby mission. And let's just make sure that, yep, Bob Kerman is in. Let's give him the Artemis suit this time around. Now, with Kerbals, it's not just these 4 you're stuck with. You can hire more Kerbals, which will probably do that once you get more into lunar operations and start getting bigger crews.
Instruments in order to pry into unknown solar systems, and these
Okay, yeah, honestly, I want 4 batteries.
in electronic computers to
And to help out with communications,
ships
I want to go here. I want to give her a little capsule here.
scientific data.
Here's some
Whether they are
some ability to communicate with the ground.
ships, the right
We only need like 2 communitrons, so we're good.
which
Do those batteries make drag? I believe batteries have physicalist parts.
but how
Yeah, some parts of Kerbal Space Program do not have physics.
at the same
It's weird. But to take that into consideration, I'll do this. Alternatively, I could also just put in a science bay. Science bay, no, not science bay. I know what I want now. Let's take this heat shield real quick. Look at a payload. This. The service bay. This is actually really helpful for robotic missions. That, and if you have junk in here, it's easier to store. If you want to turn off snap, science experiments, I want to leave here. Because we're getting ready to go out to the moon. But the mystery goo, on the other hand, actually not a bad idea to put these in here. In fact, I could use this to show something off with Bob. There we go. But these communitrons, I'll leave outside. Now, let's close her on up, and let's take the Nugget 4 out to the moon. Here we're going to be doing the Artemis 2 trajectory, which is called a free return trajectory. Free return means we go to the moon, and we get to come back for free. So I'll go ahead and I'll set the moon as my target. Anywho. Oh. All right. It's time to launch. Bit slow to get off the pad, even with solids, but that's to be expected. There we go. She's nice and stable now. Unlike real life, these SRBs don't have thrust curves. So we just have to power through it. You're playing satisfactory. Nice. I've been on a Kerbal kick, but I will throttle down as we're about to enter max Q. We'll throttle back up once we get to SRB separation. Should be coming up in a matter of moments here. Throttling back up, and we are good to ditch those SRBs. Okay, one of you guys eventually watching the video or tuning into the stream and wondering, wait, you're throwing out your rocket parts. Why is that? Well, simple. Despite the parts being, well, firing, if it's empty and runs out of fuel, that's extra mass. In order to keep the rocket as light as possible, we drop the mass once it's done. Which is why rockets have stages. And now I can use my core stage to get us to orbit. Or close enough. Help stretch out my periapsis. Which is nice and good. And with that, we're gonna have core stage flame out in just a matter of moments. And all right, we've ignited the transfer stage, which here is also going to be acting as our Saturn V second stage and helping us actually get into orbit. But from here, I definitely want to play the plumes a little bit. And yep, that's the Hydrolox plume. And that's supposed to be... I like that way more. Holy cow. Yeah, I want to keep it as Methalox. And I think that's enough. I want to get us into a nice 100 kilometer by 100 kilometer orbit. There we go. I'm going to keep the rocket pointing prograde on the SAS. This is ascending node and descending node. This is a more complicated stuff that we'll get into much later. But for now, let's get into orbit. We're around 10 seconds out. I'm gonna start burning. There we go. Let's get our periapsis up to around 100 kilometers. So get a nice, stable orbit. $99 by 100. Yep, that's pretty stable if you ask me. So, the moon. How do we get there? Well, we're gonna add something called a maneuver node. Oh, this is part of a mod I have called Precise Maneuver. Super helpful mod. Yep, I'm gonna get myself my info. That's just Steam, don't worry about it. I gotta figure out how the heck. Huh, ejection angle. That's our next encounter. So if we want to get to the moon, it's gonna require quite a bit of energy. Traditionally, you could also do this, and you could also do this. But personally, I prefer this because it's much larger. And it can be a little more precise with everything. Seriously, this is a very helpful mod. What we want to do is drag it, and see? Now it gains a very high orbit. What we want to do is drag it out far enough where we can, at the right time, we'll drag it forward, and we will have, boom, we got an encounter with the moon. Now I'm going to grab focus view. Don't worry, there is a way to get the focus back onto the ship. I'm going to keep dragging this until I get the exact trajectory I want, which is free return. Okay, so here we're going to need a little more. And I want to pay attention to my Kerbal periapsis. Because watch what happens. If I add more, if I use up more delta V, yeah, our periapsis to the moon gets further away. What happens is that we use the moon's gravity to come back to Kerbal. Hence, free return. Also means if we do it just right, yep, we got it. And we got like half an hour until the burn. So here we can actually click on this node here, maneuver. Basically what it does is that it helps keep you aligned with your target. In this case, the moon. Okay, we got plenty of EC. And yeah, so we click this button here, we can actually fast forward to our maneuver node. This button cancels it. We don't want that. I'm curious about that too, T-Man. Personally, I'd rather just have 2 drone ships. But for now, let's get to the moon. Luckily, our orbital stage here can also act as a transfer stage if needed. Which is pretty freaking neat. What I'm going to do is fast forward just a little bit more to my maneuver node. Totally accurate battle simulator. And we get to burn in 10 seconds. Now 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Burn, baby, burn. No, I really like this Methalox plume. See what's happening to our orbit? That's getting very inclined. Rather, not inclined, very eccentric. An eccentric orbit means one side is much bigger than the other. And to keep our burn going, we drop the stage. Bye-bye transfer stage. Hello orbital stage. And we'll finish up the TLI burn. Now, is it Moon or Mun? I believe it's actually Mun, but I use Moon and Mun interchangeably. And these last couple meters per second for your maneuver node, I recommend throttling down when you basically have your target in your sights. And Seco! That, ladies and gentlemen, is how we do it. We've also got Planet Delta V to capture into low lunar orbit too. But that's a part of my plan. As this is just a flyby. I mean, was it get above 200 kilometers? No, it's 250. Then we get in space high. Yep, there it is. Oh, I should probably click on this mod. Nope, it's actually this mod. This is called Science Here and Now. Basically, it gives you a checklist of what you need to do, as well as the points. So here, I can basically just go ahead and run down the list. Now go ahead and keep all of our data. So what we can do is now have Bob go out an EVA. I want an EVA report. Collect the data. Take our data. Take our data. Oh, here's something real cool you could do. I'm gonna let go. And so how do I control Bob in this state? Press R and it gets your reaction control system out. And Bob will actually face the direction of where your mouse is. But now I want to get Bob back to the back to his ship. Because we've got a variable bounty of science. And actually, partway through, there's something really cool that spacecraft can do. What the real life spacecraft do. I'm looking for something called a correction burn. Watch what happens. And it's partway through my coast. If I burn retrograde. Starlink in an hour. Ooh, shoot. You guys want to watch it on stream? I'm down for a Starlink launch. And here, I'm actually going to go ahead and adjust the thrust limiter down to 1%. Let's get some lights in the cabin. Now we're in transmitter space. We can just fast forward to our maneuver node. Right now we're in the coast phase. Once we get to this flyby done, we should be in the clear for any extra science we might need before we attempt going out to Minmus. Plus, it's really cool to do the Artemis 2 flyby in KSP, so why not? And there we go. Now we're on target. Focus view. Yep, I'm very happy with that periapsis. If you want to reset your view, I believe you press the key next to one on the keyboard. But for now, we're still in space high above Kerbal, so how about we actually enter lunar space? See how the moon's moving? Oh, right. Right now, we're moving in a way where we meet up with it. And then from there, once we cross that blue dot, we're going to enter the moon sphere of influence. And then our orbit's about to change. You see? We're going to start here, we're going to end there. But now, we're doing this. Now we're in space high above the moon. Let's see what we have with science. That would save us a lot of trouble later on. Okay, let's get back to the spacecraft. We're about to experience a Kerbal set. Seriously, this game is so beautiful with mods. I mean, look at that! If I get nuttier when I press V. Guys, seriously. If you don't own Kerbal Space Program, now's the time to get it. Oh, you want to know how I made the UI disappear? You press F2. That's all I need to do. That's Jewel. All right, it's time to collect our data. All right, nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. I'm ready to grab it. God, it's beautiful. Grab. Board. We got everything we needed. All right, let's complete this flyby. Want to get a Kerbal set. I want to get a Kerbal set. Now we're on the lunar far side. Oh, man. And there's the Kerbal rise. Now, I didn't need to collect the data at all. But it would have been a nice... something a little nice to have. Anywho, let's go ahead and get... Alright, let's go home. We got what we came here for. Now, oh shoot, I didn't realize we hit the atmosphere that quickly. That could have been fatal. Guy's having a heart attack. Physics real quick. Mach 10. Oh boy, that heat shield's starting to overheat. I'm sorry, game. I was admiring your beauty. Well, the good news is that we're re-entering. And now we're just deep enough in the atmosphere. I'm so happy I cranked up the re-entry settings. Now heating actually makes a difference. Yeah, we did just pull a Maverick there in KSP. I wasn't paying attention to the time warp. You know, I've still yet to see Top Gun Maverick. Good news is we finally... Yeah, Mach 10 in 2 seconds. You weren't kidding. And apparently what's really funny about Top Gun Maverick is that it sent the Chinese government into a tailspin because they thought the SR-72 was real. Which, for all we know, it might actually be. Oh yeah, despite me cranking up the re-entry settings, the heat shields in this game are way too strong. I can tell we use 71 units of a blader. That tells me for a lunar rate heat shield on that trajectory, I need around 100. But for now, let us go ahead and... Yeah, we can pop the chute. Let's bring Jeb home. I mean, not Jeb, Bob, excuse me. And we just did our quote-unquote Artemis 2 mission. Sorry, I just want to check on chat. Another marvelous day for the RPSA. Ah, that's why. I need to actually set source record up. But regardless, we are home now. And there's not really a whole lot else to do. So let's land and let's head out to Minmus. And best part is, we can use that same rocket. I swear, deferred rendering with TUFX. The game looks gorgeous, dude. I'm currently using BlackRack's TUFX profile too. But yes, our hero returns from the Mun. We've got a variable bounty. I mean, technically, yeah, they did. Save the plane from Godzilla -1. But right now, we have 276 science points. I'm gonna grab electrics. I'm just gonna grab aviation. And I'm going to grab... Should I get miniaturization, though? I mean, I'll be able to get this node in no time. But look at that for one stream. We completed most of the tech tree already. It's too much. T-Man? Am I reading that correctly? 2 miles to be safe from a starship explosion? That's not a lot. Okay, these I'm not gonna worry about right now. Could be nice. These could be really nice. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I'm glad I know that now. But I'm gonna wait on these. Honestly, I want to get fuel systems. If anything, for this tank. Oh, it's so close. I can get the hydraulic. I can make my LEM. But that's a story for another day. Honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab fuel systems. These will help us out in the long run. And I can simplify my rocket even more. So let's go ahead and let's, or actually, shoot. I mean, we head down to the surface, but we're not really gonna have the capacity for anything. Yeah, do I have the science? I do have the experiment storage unit. Cool. Okay, this is gonna be after the Minimus mission, so I can show off something really nice. And trust me, we're gonna have a lot of science after Minimus. In fact, since we just did a lunar flyby, that just saves us to the Mud mission later on. Before I continue, guys, I just want to check something. Also want to go ahead and fix this. Because I have sorcerer cord. And I can do that. I've been meaning to fix that for a while. So I turn away and use a desktop. You guys don't see anything from it. And I can still keep my eyes on the game too. Pretty neat, isn't it? But what I actually want to do is, because admittedly I forgot my schedule, so I just want to take a quick peek at my channel real quick. Damn, I look good. Yeah, I see everything perfectly fine in there. It is 10:15. You know what? Let's do Minimus tomorrow then. I want to get back into the swing of things. So we're starting a bit later than expected. But honestly, we're in a good spot. I definitely keeping the streams on the shorter side too, because I have work in the morning. Glad you're on that. Thanks, T-Man. Seriously, it means a lot, dude. But with that being said, man, I am so happy I picked Kerbal back up with Artemis 2. Guys, the science mode is going to get me into the swing of things. Trust me, when we get more parts, everything's going to come. My old building skills are going to come back together. I just need the robotics and the cow controller, and I'm good. Which, by the way, T-Man, just to make you happy, I think one of the builds for this mode is going to be Delta 4. But that's a story for another day. In the meantime, I want to see who I can raid. Because come on, let's pass it on. I'm going to type Kerbal space program. Hey, there's me. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. I know who I want to raid. Because this guy apparently is about to do a Minimus attempt. So I say, let's go ahead and let's raid this dude. I'm just grabbing everything real quick. So just please bear with me. Raid. Annoy. See. Crickets. And guys, before we continue, here's a raid message. Copy paste it. And spam it. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and say thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic evening, and take care. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or Friday, whichever comes first. Anywho, later, guys. I'm signing off.